The Stevenson family have been rescuing motorists across the Scottish Highlands for over 40 years.
I love driving, helping people.
A lot of our drivers, everybody knows them and they drive by them, they know Mickey, they know Pete.
There's virtually nothing they haven't jump-started or pulled out of a ditch. Their tight-knit team are made up of 3 generations of family and friends.
Just one big happy family.
Wild weather and rough terrain make it a particularly challenging area for recovery crews.
You just gotta eat when you can and sleep when you can and be there for the kids as much as you can.
They're on call day and night.
On the road all the time, 24/7.
Helping people 24 hours a day, which is a nice feeling.
It's life-changing.
In the Highlands, roadside rescue is more than a job. It's a way of life. The Stevensons run their family recovery business from Gairlochie Bay in the heart of the Highlands.
Good afternoon, Stevenson Recovery.
Brother and sister Jamie and Jean work with their partners William and Claire and a team of mechanics, office staff and drivers.
Being part of a family business, it means everything to myself and my brother.
Hello, Stevenson.
In this family, everyone is involved in recovery.
What lorry do you like the best?
The Scania.
The Scania lorry. Is that your favourite?
Yep, because it's super big.
My kids and even Jean's kids, obviously sort of almost like a next generation.
Recovery life is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Luckily, we all get on really well.
Between 2 mechanics, you might get 1 pair of good hands. You got some cheek, you.
So you're always ripping into each other and having a laugh.
Thunderbird 1. It says exactly on the tin. Cheers, dude. Good to go.
Their rescue area stretches across the Highlands from Bridge of Orchy in the south to Invermoriston in the north, taking in some of the most breathtaking landscapes and challenging roads in Britain. It's early winter, and the Scottish Highlands are seeing the first heavy snowfall of the year. Snow season brings breakdowns and recoveries of all kinds.
When you start seeing the snow falling, you do get a bit excited.
This morning, Jamie and Paddy are heading out to rescue a snowplough, stuck halfway up the single-track road to Kinlochhorn, the longest no-through road in Britain.
In this sort of weather, you can't really pick a worse spot. There's not a lot of traffic on it, so when the road gets icy or sloppy, it tends to stay like that for a good few days.
It's a long, narrow road where even professional drivers get into difficulties.
You're just constantly watching the edge of the road, and if you can't see the edge of the road, make sure you're sitting in the middle just so that you know you're not going to cock up over the edge of it. With the likes of these, you've got to watch, because this thing here empty sits about 26 tonnes, so if you do touch the sides at all, you know, it does just pull you in.
The snowplough is within sight, but it's facing towards them, so Jamie has to turn round and do a tricky reverse down the narrow, icy road.
When you're going backwards down a relatively sloppy road, you've got to make sure you've got your positioning right, because if we touch the sides, you're just going straight down until you hit the hard. It could be 2 feet or it could be 16 foot deep with peat, you just don't know.
The plough is completely off the road, stuck in a deep ditch.
First thing we could see was the angle it was sitting at. You can't really get into your head exactly how you're going to do it until you see what the ground's like and where the load's sitting.
First, Jamie checks how much grit the plough is carrying.
There's about 3/4 loaded. The load's sitting over that side a wee bit, so it'll be fighting against us a bit, but we'll just have to overcome and adapt.
A 3/4 loaded snowplough weighs over 18 tonnes. The plough got stuck during yesterday's heavy snow. Drivers Ross and Gus have come to clear the road as soon as it's pulled out.
I think what the problem was, there was other vehicles parked here and they tried to get past. Just caught the version. But we've all done it, we've all got the t-shirts.
Try it in gear just very slightly, yeah?
Today, Jamie and Paddy are using their prized recovery truck with its high-powered winches and heavy-duty crane.
It's old school, it's all mechanical, it's got a lot of strength behind it.
She is some machine, like, it's quite an animal.
9 times out of 10, it's always succeeds with what it's going to do.
Jamie starts to pull. But his high-powered winch can't compete with the 18-ton vehicle.
It's a bit unknown how it's going to react because the load had shifted. It didn't work out as what we wanted it to.
There's more snow on the way, so they have to get the plough back in action before conditions get any worse.
Hold there, hammer on.
But Jamie's plan isn't working. Veteran recovery driver Mickey has been rescuing stranded motorists in the Highlands for over 40 years.
Over the years, thousands.
He's lived in this area for his whole life.
I love it. You know, I love the hills like that. I used to do a bit of hill walking years ago and fishing the hill walks. Get too old for it now.
Despite being in his 70s, Mickey has no plans to retire.
I like what I'm doing, helping people. You meet a hell of a nice people. We're sitting in the house talking to my wife all the time. I wouldn't crack up, like, you know. But I served my time as a blacksmith. I've never been inside in a factory or anything. I'd be climbing the walls to get back out again, like. I know I couldn't do it. I got uptight, you know, and just too many people, like, you know. I like my freedom, like, you know. I used to come up here fishing and shooting. Poaching? Maybe a wee bit. I know said nothing.
Mickey knows the Highlands like the back of his hand. And he knows where to find the locals.
Red deer, ptarmigan, wild boar, ospreys, sea eagles, a lot of wildlife. Come on, come on, come on. Yeah. Come on. Come on. The way they stand, the way they roam the hills, I think they're beautiful beasts. What are you saying now? Is that a good boy, eh? Yeah, good boy, eh? Come on, yeah. That's what I wanted to show you what we've got in this place. Unbelievable what you see here, isn't it? This is all about feel bad shooting one of them.
Mickey loves the Highlands so much, he doesn't even have a passport.
What have I got a passport for? I've got all this. I can't see me lying on the beach in Lanzarote or that, lying in the sun. Not for me. Do what you like with your passport.
Highland recovery crews are having their busiest month of the winter season. Ex-soldier Pete is on his way to rescue a driver stuck on high ground somewhere along the A86 near Loch Lagan.
The information I've got so far is it's an A-class Mercedes that's broken down on the 86. It's like collision, I'll call it collision damage for the minute till we see it, but I think the gentleman or person has slid off the road, but has managed to get the car somewhere to a lay-by. That's all I know about it till we get there.
Pete is originally from the Midlands, but has lived in the Highlands for over 10 years.
I came up recruiting soldiers for the Highland Regiment, and I met the wife. So after 43 years now, we've moved back up here. It's such a beautiful area to be in. It's a great way of life.
The A86 is a major trunk road that crosses high ground between the West Highlands and the Cairngorm Mountains. In snow season, it's a hotspot for incidents.
So anywhere from here on in, you might find them, but I've got a feeling they'll be down the far end of the loch. This is where you get the worst of the weather now. Nope, not this one. Nobody in there, no red. Oh, okay, cool. Cheers. 68 plate. Oh, Christ, yeah. Now then.
Before Pete looks at a car, he likes to break the ice with the driver.
Because I spent 22 years in the army, I do have a soldier's kind of sense of humour, so it's a bit of banter and a bit of humour that helps get on a long way. Hi guys, who's the driver? Have you got a taxi booked or anything?
No, so you're going to Inverness, yeah?
No, you, personally. I'm taking these guys, but I don't take the driver.
Are you not?
No. It's your fault you're here. It relaxes everybody, it just gets a bit of humour going and everybody's laughing and joking and enjoying it. And then we get on with the actual doing the job then.
Driver Michael and his 3 friends were on their way home to Aberdeen when they slid on ice and crashed into a rock.
You've got to look at the body damage first and what damage has been done to the engine. So can you move the car if you need to? Is it drivable?
Pete tries to jump-start the car.
Is it still coming up with the same?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Yeah, I can hear it trying to take over, but the engine management's then okay. Right, it's going to be a bit of a push and a shove and a tow.
The crash caused the car to automatically shut down. So Pete will have to winch it onto his truck. But there's a problem.
Is it an electronic handbrake? Is it on? Yeah. Trouble is with cars nowadays that they've all got electronic handbrakes. So if you've got no power, you can't release the handbrake.
With the handbrake stuck on, the car can't be moved or recovered. But it's snowing heavily, and the 4 friends have already been stranded for over 2 hours. On the narrow road to Kinlochhorn, Jamie and Paddy are trying to pull an 18-ton snowplough out of a ditch. But his truck's high-powered winch is failing to get it out.
Depending on where the weight of the truck and the centre of gravity, sometimes you've got to overcome and adapt and think on the spot of how you're going to get it out.
Jamie will have to try something else.
I think we'll put a Highland on it, Paddy. Put the boom out, put the Highland on it. I'm just kind of fighting against the way it's sitting there now.
Jamie extends the hydraulic crane to provide extra pulling power from above.
This line here, we'll be going to the bottom side and actually try and lift it a wee bit, tease it out, and then we'll use the other winch rope and a low pull underneath and that'll be drawing it forward. So I want to be lifting, I want to be pulling.
I don't think we've got a lot of fear as such. When you get these jobs in, you get an adrenaline rush, so you just get on with it.
The added pulling power from the crane starts to work. The snowplow is finally back on the road.
Right handbrake on! The back wheel's just on the tyre, so because the weight is shifted in the box and the ditch is that soft, it just needed a bit of a helping hand on this side to lift it over. It's kind of like fishing really, you know.
We've had hundreds of trucks over the years. There's a lot of them that stick in my mind from when I was a kid, and I think Big Red is going to be the same for my kids. It's definitely bomb-proof. It's an awesome piece of equipment because it's just never let me down.
Jamie's parents, David and Nancy Stevenson, started their Highland roadside recovery business in 1973. Jamie and his sister grew up around trucks and recovery.
When I was growing up, my father would go out on a job, quite often either tag along or you'd always hear about stuff that's going on or pick up stuff along the way. You tend to find that a lot of recovery companies are based on family businesses and it's sort of passed from one generation to the next.
Jamie and Jean now run the company with their respective partners, Jean's husband William and Jamie's wife Claire.
The fact that our partners are so heavily involved and are actually employed by the business makes a huge difference to how we can run it, because they understand that work doesn't stop at 5 o'clock some nights, and they understand the difficulties at doing a 24-hour job. I think it means a lot to my parents as well, that they can see that it's working well, that I do the office side, Jamie does the road side.
Jamie loves recovery so much, he even used his favourite truck to drive Claire to church on their wedding day.
It's not exactly kind of your usual wedding transport, is it?
But it's unique, that's the main thing about
It is indeed.
For one day only, it's fine. So
Worked out
it's
quite
probably the
well.
last time we'll see you in a white dress in the lorry, but you know.
It made it really special. Obviously it's completely different, it's completely unique. We actually made the local paper because of it. And it's something nice to be able to look back on now with the kids. You know, they look back at the photos and go, oh, that was Mum and Dad's wedding car.
Their trucks are an important part of the lives of all the recovery drivers. Over the years, Mickey's spent so much time in his truck, he's clocked up over 1 million kilometres.
1086,800 kilometres. A millionaire. I'm not. One day maybe I'll win the lottery. This is your home. This is your breakfast table here. So I'm used to it. It's the way of life. They can't see me change anymore now. Like.
On the A86 near Loch Lagan, ex-soldier Pete is trying to rescue 4 friends and their collision-damaged car. But their engine has shut down with the handbrake stuck on.
So if you've got no power, you can't release the handbrake.
Pete calls mechanic Paddy for some expert advice.
Hello, pal. Yeah, the engine management shut it down. It's saying the manufacturer's repair. Anyway, shortcutting it. I'll put the booster on it. Yeah. Thanks, mate. Cheers, Paddy. Bye-bye. Basically, if you disconnect the battery, it will allow you to at least get the handbrake off and in neutral so we can move it easier. That's the theory anyway, so we'll see. Paddy's right. There we go. Right.
Paddy's advice works. Disconnecting the battery means Pete can release the handbrake and finally winch the damaged vehicle onto his truck.
And the quicker we get this done, the safer we'll all shall be. And besides, the sun's shining.
Pete has a motto from his army days, which he now applies to recovery work.
There's no such thing as a problem. There's only a requirement for a solution. You know, just get on with it. So what marks out of 10?
10.
Oh, good. That's good. I could have said 12. Anything less than 9, I would have stopped and gone, right, get out. Fortunately, on the road, we nearly had a second accident because a large truck came around the corner on my side of the road at a very fast speed. Oh, come on, pal. Oh, Jesus. That is the speed that they come at. The 4 passengers were a bit frightened of that situation, so having just had one experience, they don't need another one of the same. Trust me, guys, you're fine. Nothing's going to happen to you guys. The reward is helping people out. That's the biggest job satisfaction there is. And I've done various jobs since I left the army, and this is the best job satisfaction I've ever had.
It's 5 p.m. As the light fades, Jamie heads out to recover a 4x4 that's come off the road in heavy snow.
You're out in the dark, you kind of got to be extra cautious because, you know, if you're working down an embankment below the road and, you know, you can hear cars flying past, a lot of the time, you know, they don't expect to see you there, so they don't really back off. You've got to be really, really careful because it's, you know, within a blink of an eye, you know, you can be wiped out. So. I'm guessing it's come round this corner and looks like it's probably ran the bank and then gone down. There it is. Covered in snow.
Jamie's colleague Christian is at the scene to provide lights and protection from oncoming vehicles.
You can tell it's had quite a fair impact going off as far as it had. A bit of roof damage, a bit of side damage, a bit of front damage and below it because it had gone over the boulders.
The driver was rescued shortly after the accident with only minor injuries. It'll soon be dark, so Jamie and Christian have to move fast.
It makes you want to work faster, but you've got to do it safe as you can. And we both got families, so if you get hurt or if you get killed at the roadside, then you're not going to benefit anyone. So it's good to keep that in the back of your mind all the time.
Because the 4x4 is so far off the road, Jamie will have to drag it closer before he can lift it onto his truck.
Not quite enough reach to get it from where it is. So we'll get the crane out and then we'll use an extra sling to grab the back of the vehicle. Get the back wheels up to about here somewhere. Will give us enough to actually rig it to lift it. You need the other one. Just one.
This evening, Jamie is using the accident recovery truck. It's the newest addition to the fleet and comes equipped with a remote-controlled crane that can lift 3.5 tons at full reach.
The gross weight of the vehicle is 32 tonne. It'll carry about 15 tonnes on the back of it. And with it being all remote control, it's so versatile. As an all-rounder, it's a great machine. When you hook onto it and you're actually pulling something out, you've got it in your head how it's going to come out. If you doubt yourself, then that's when things go wrong. You've got to be adamant this is how it's coming out.
The 4x4 is now close enough for Jamie to lift it with the crane. But it's not going to be easy due to the steepness of the bank and the angle of the vehicle.
It's going to sit like that, but there's not what I can do about it. Quickest way, get it away, take it out here before it's too dark. Normally we'd lift it down, take it off the wheels and lift it. It's possible repairable, so I don't want to cause any more damage to the sides of it. But it's going to be a bit off balance, but not what I can really do.
If you rush the job when you're using the crane, people can get hurt. If you make a mistake, or if you don't rig something right, or if something's not done right, that's the worst time when you've got it suspended, 6-7 foot in the air. When you're getting it coming over the top of the truck, that's kind of the most exciting point. So if you do it fast and make a mess of it, it could end up going onto the live lane.
Take it in just a wee touch. Beautiful. Trying to work out centre of gravity when you're working at an angle like that, it's a bit more difficult, but we seem to get it pretty spot on there, so it's on the back of the lorry, that's the main thing. The next 5 minutes or so that'll be us done and we're ready for the next one. It's all good fun.
It's now 7 p.m. The 4x4 will be recovered back to base before Jamie goes to his next rescue. A fully loaded HGV stuck in snow on the A87 above Invergarry. The A87 is the main trunk road to the Isle of Skye. It crosses high ground between Invergarry and Bunloyne.
It gets a lot of snow, and because it's quite steep, certain parts of the hill, if the road gets polished at all, you're guaranteed you're going to get a phone call for a truck that's got stuck.
Jamie has switched from the accident recovery truck into his old favourite, better suited for HGV rescues on steep hills. He's also got Paddy along to help in the snowy conditions.
And if it's snowing heavy, the road can be ploughed and then it could be white 5 minutes later. It was just carnage, really,
You don't know what the driver's like himself, how confident he is, and you might get someone that's never dealt with snow before. So when you first arrive, I'm anxious to see how it's going to pan out.
HGV driver Wee Gary tackled the steep incline fully loaded, but ran into difficulties just before the top.
Just basically lost traction and got into the side, so close to the top. Heading as far as Uig, going over the ferry, so I'll be going tonight now, but always tomorrow.
They need to move fast. The two trucks are taking up most of the road. There's barely enough room for other vehicles to get by. But before Jamie can tow Gary up the hill, another truck tries to pass them.
On my mirror, I looked across and the other truck's trying to squeeze past.
The passing truck loses traction on the icy road.
He almost made it, but then he hit the same spot as the first truck did, and then he spun out.
It tries to keep going, but it's no use.
He was just that wee bit too wide to squeeze through where we were.
The second HGV is well and truly stuck. Jamie pulls the first truck to safety with a promise to go back for the second.
When the lorry's got the hill, they're kind of committed. They've got to keep the momentum going. If they lose momentum, then they just can't get going again. So we're going to drop this boy off just down here, then we'll go back and get him up as well.
At the top of the hill, they say goodbye to wee Gary. Then Jamie turns and reverses down the icy road to help the second truck.
The truck had spun out, slid backwards slightly, and as he come backwards, one drive wheel had gone right into the soft.
Paddy gets to work, while Jamie forms a plan.
It's fully loaded, sitting about 42 tonne, so I'm wanting to just winch it straight across here.
Jamie and Paddy set up two high-powered winch lines attached to a heavy-duty sling on the front of the HGV. But it's still not enough to pull the 42-ton truck out of the ditch.
But you can't put the handbrake on, you set and let the weight off. Handbrake back on again. It's quite deceiving how steep this hill is. Trying to get the grip on this one, it's just ice below there, you know. Just got another line on it to change the direction slightly, and hopefully I'll get a bit more response out of it.
Paddy attaches another winch line from the crane to give Jamie more upwards pulling power on the ditch side. But will it be enough?
Just tell the driver to hang fire, don't put the handbrake off yet anyway.
They now have 3 winch lines pulling the fully loaded HGV. But on each pull, rather than lifting the HGV out, Jamie's truck is being dragged backwards down the hill.
The danger is that if we don't use the right equipment, then something could get broken and somebody could get hurt.
Gradually, the extra winch line starts to make a difference.
Try and drive it a wee bit more.
With the second winch line on it, the front of the truck started to lift very slightly, and all of a sudden it just sort of hopped out of the ditch. As soon as the front tyre popped over the edge of the tyre, it came out a dream.
That's what I want. Perfect.
Jamie and Paddy have pulled another truck out of danger and safely on its way.
It was a tough job, that one, but we always get them out.
At the end of the day, when you've done a full day's work and you've got people going, when you come home it's a good feeling because usually Claire's got the dinner on, you know, you might be starved, you might not have eaten all day. You just gotta eat when you can and sleep when you can and be there for the kids as much as you can.